Wow, it's time for another show full of tips and ideas from the sales growth leadership expert, Dean Akers. Known for his experience in hyper-growing companies and creating cultures for high-performance teams, here's Dean.
Well, welcome to episode 56. It's always fun. We're over a year. Next week, I'll be in Orlando at the 2019 PodFest. That's going to be a lot of fun, meeting with a lot of podcasters across the country. Again, thank you to all my listeners across the world for the thousands and thousands of downloads you've done. I know I get feedback on my dean@deanakers.com email that people send me that I've actually made a difference in their personal and their professional life. And so I just really enjoy reaching out to you, and I enjoy watching people be successful and watching or giving you information that can help make you more successful. Our podcast last week on branding, personal branding, was just well received. Lots of comments back from all of you out there about building your personal brands. And like we said in that podcast, you have a brand, whether you like it or not. You have a personal brand, so it's important for you to manage your personal brand and make it happen. This week was kind of interesting. I work with sales teams across the country, and even though I'm an adjunct CEO and there's finance, operations, and sales, most companies' cures come in the sales side. And most companies' challenge come from the lack of growth of sales, or just sales in general, profitability of the sale, and such as that. So today, I was looking to have a program on sales like I would normally do. And on my way to the studio, I was getting my car washed like I do every Saturday, a creature of habit. And I walked into the lobby of the car wash I go to every week. And sitting there was a true sales superstar, a guy I've known for years, and he's a real warrior. The kind of guy that's got confidence, the kind of guy that understands the process, the kind of guy that's been mega successful in his career in sales and his customers, and has had great customers, big customers, landed huge clients. He's just a true warrior and a true superstar. And I sat down with him and said, "Hey, bud, how you doing?" And he looked at me and he goes, and he was down. And I'm going, what? This guy is a warrior superstar, and he's down. And then it reminded me, and I'll tell you why, but it reminded me that we all go through these ebbs and flows, even superstars, and sometimes we have to be reminded. So today's show, I'm going to share with you my visit with him. So we're sitting there, and he's down, and he's saying, "Customers don't get it, Dean. They just don't get it anymore. They're always beating me up over price. They're beating me up over competition. I'm tired. And I looked at him and I go, no, not at all. You're a rock star, superstar, warrior guy. And what makes you that is you have always helped your customers. You have always been just a shining light to your clients. You have brought solutions that have made differences in their businesses. You're thinking consultatively all the time. You're just totally helping your customers. You've made tens of millions, maybe even hundreds of millions of dollars worth of difference for your clients, and for your new clients that you're going to have, you have that talent." And I said, "So you got to get back in the game. You are off your game." And so we started talking about it, and he knows he helps customers. And I said, "Here's what I want you to do. You got to get back in." And how do you get back in? You get back into how you got there in the first place. You solved their problems. And how did you solve their problems? You went in with a smile. You went in with questions. You went in and engaged. And then when in doubt, you asked more questions. And you came back with solutions, and then more questions and more solutions. And your customers embraced you, and they knew you were the person, and your company was bringing and making a difference in their businesses and in their careers with what you did by asking lots of questions, listening, smiling, bringing solutions, and making them successful. I got a smile. I got a smile from him. I got a smile. And I looked at him and I said, you need to get back in the game. You're off your game. You're probably in there puking on them. You're probably in there telling them what to do and stuff. You got to get back on your game, the game you're so good at, of solving the customer's problem, helping them by asking questions and asking more questions, bringing solutions, collaborating, helping them get their problems solved and their successes greater. That's what you do. That's who you are. That's who you are. And that's what they buy from you, and that's who they buy from you. And then, while we're sitting there waiting on our cars, I get a smile at him. Now, needless to say, he's a pretty good looking guy. He's got a great smile. He gave me a smile. And he kind of looked at me and says, you're right. I got to get back in the game. Because he is the game. He is a superstar. He was down. So all you superstars out there, remember, go back to the basics. Ask the questions. Go back to the basics. Solve the problems. Go back to the basics. Get in there and meet the clients and learn them. And when he was complaining, I got to find it here. I probably dropped it somewhere, but he was talking about, Dean, they just don't get it. It's like we're selling the machine gun and they're sitting outside with a sword. And I said, but that's your fault. That's your fault, because you're not engaging them. You're not asking the questions. You're not getting through the gatekeepers. You're not making that thing, because you bring the machine gun to the battle that they're fighting with a sword. So get in there and ask those questions. Shut up. Solve the problems. Build the relationships. So he smiles. He's a warrior. I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden they go, black Maserati ready. He stands up, walks out and gets in his brand new black Maserati, peels out of the car wash, and I go, there goes a warrior. There goes a warrior. So, your challenge from me this week is go out and be a warrior. Go out and ask lots of questions. Go out and solve problems. And be the warrior you know you can be. Build those relationships. Don't be timid. Get in there. Mix it up with them. When they talk about price and they talk about competition, don't let that distract you. Get back to the questions and what is your problem and can I solve it? Because that's what they really want. So I want y'all to go out there, ask lots of questions, be a warrior, and solve their problems.
We hope you enjoyed this week's show. Subscribe today to our podcast and send questions or thoughts to help@deanakers.com. Also, visit us at www.deanakers.com to listen to prior shows and view helpful videos. Also, great tips to download. Thanks again. See you next week.